So Russell Wilson has been named the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers over Justin Fields. I think this was to be expected. I was expecting it to be Russell Wilson. When Drew and I did our quarterback rankings, we ranked Russell Wilson, not Fields. So yeah, I mean, we assumed that Russ was going to be the guy there. It still is an interesting choice, though, and it's interesting that it took them so long. I think there are legitimate doubts right now about Russell Wilson's NFL future, and I think there are also legitimate doubts about Justin Fields. Fields, to his credit, he becomes one of the better backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I would probably say the only backup that I'd rather have than Justin Fields is probably Jimmy G, because we've seen him literally play in a Super Bowl, and maybe Mac Jones, because the potential, and I do like Mac Jones a lot. So I would say Fields is a top 3 or 4 backup. I like Carson Wentz a lot as a backup too, but I think Fields is right there. He's one of those top 3 or 4 backup quarterbacks in the league. But that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Russ, to his credit, I still think he's one of the 20 best quarterbacks in the NFL. And maybe I'm naive. I have him at 14. Ahead of Baker Mayfield and below Trevor Lawrence. Is that insane for me to? I think he's better than. Here's the list of quarterbacks that I think Russell Wilson is better than. Baker, who I think you could debate. Geno on the Seahawks, who I think there's a debate. Aaron Rodgers, who again, you can debate that. I think Rodgers off an ACL, not as good as Russ. Kyler Murray, I think Russ is better. Brock Purdy, controversial maybe. I haven't seen enough from Brock Purdy. I think he's better than Daniel Jones. I think he is better than, this is going to be controversial, Jordan Love, who, again, Jordan Love, great in the last 2 months of the season, awful in the first 2 months of the season. I need Jordan Love to prove to me that he is the guy he was in the second half and not the guy he was for the entire beginning of his career. Gardner Minshew, I think Russ is better. And the rest of these we agree on. I mean, Deshaun, nobody thinks Deshaun, I mean, sure, maybe. And of course, he's better than Sam Darnold. He's better than Brissett. He's better than Bryce Young. He's better than Will Levis. He's better than, I think, until he proves it, I think he's better than Anthony Richardson. So that's about half the league's quarterbacks Russell Wilson is better than. He is an average quarterback, but he's not a bad starting quarterback. And I think that as an average quarterback for an average team, I think they're a 9-8 team. Last year they won 10. They always have a winning record every single year. Mike Tomlin has not had a losing record yet, and I wouldn't expect it. Every year, people try to predict, this is the year the Steelers are going to finish below 500. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm saying 9-8. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think they're a 9-8 team. I think Russ has a decent season. I mean, look, last year at the time of his benching, he was 5th in touchdown passes. He was top 5 in passer rating. He was 1st in touchdown to interception ratio. He had a good season last year statistically. He just wasn't winning. And a huge part of that was because Denver had a terrible defense and a terrible offensive line and nobody good at the skill positions. I mean, their receiving core was Tim Patrick, injured, Cortland Sutton, always injured, Jerry Jeudy, who was a bust, and Marvin Mims Jr. as a rookie. Their running back core was Jaleel McLaughlin, Samaj P. Ryan, Javonte Williams. None of those guys are great. Adam Troutman and Greg Dulcich at tight end. That was a bad offense with a bad O-line and a bad D-line, and Sean Payton coming after not coaching for the past 2 seasons. Russell Wilson was in a division where he had to play against the Chiefs. Russell Wilson was in a failing circumstance. It was a very difficult AFC, a difficult West, with a bad supporting cast around him. I think he has a better supporting cast in Pittsburgh, so I think we're going to see Russell Wilson do what he has not done since 2020, which is crazy. I think Russell Wilson will have a winning record. He had a losing record in 2021 with Seattle, and then back-to-back losing seasons in Denver. So he's had 3 straight losing seasons. I think he gets back to a winning season. 9-8 is my official prediction for the Steelers. So Jacoby Brissett has been named as the Patriots starter. That doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, really? Brissett? Jacoby Brissett? That guy? He's still around? He's still starting games? It goes to show, I mean, I think Brissett's a good backup. I don't even think he's a great backup, because I think a great backup is a guy who comes in and at least gives you a chance to win every single game. I don't think Brissett gives you a chance to win every single game. I think Brissett can beat bad teams. I think Brissett can play well when everything is going right. But I don't think Jacoby Brissett is a quarterback who gives you a chance in every single game. So in that sense, he's a good backup. I don't even think he's a top 10 backup in the league. Now he's just going to be a starter. They have named him the starter. Look, is he the worst starter in the league? No. I think he's at least better than Will Levis. I think he's at least better than Bryce Young and Sam Darnold. So I'll give him that much. And you could say, we haven't really seen Anthony Richardson play, and then he's better, at least as of now, the rookies. So he's around that 25, 26 mark right now. Maybe he's more polished than Drake May, but you know what you're getting in Brissett. And I hate when teams do this, when they start the veteran who, again, he's a backup. He's a backup. You have a rookie. I want to see the guy, because Drake May has a lot of potential, but again, it makes me question. I talked about this earlier in the week. Are they hiding Drake May for a reason? Either A, because they don't think he's ready, or B, because they don't trust their O-line to protect him. Now, if it truly is that they just wanted him to earn the spot and they thought Brissett was better in the preseason, I disagree. If it's like, yeah, we think Drake May could start, but we think Brissett is better, I wouldn't do that. Maybe that's a rookie head coach making that choice. The way I see it, even if the rookie isn't as good as the backup, if you think the rookie can play, you got to let the rookie play. Right? Like, going back to previous years, right? Like, last year even, I'm sure there was a group of people saying, look, Davis Mills has started 2 years in a row, and, he's probably the best option to start for Houston week 1. They didn't do that. They let CJ Stroud go from week 1. And you're like, well, CJ Stroud's obviously better than Drake May. Drake May was picked 3rd overall. What was CJ Stroud? 2nd overall. Pretty darn close. And Drake May could have easily gone 2nd overall. And it's not as ridiculous as you think. Trey Lance didn't start his rookie season because he wasn't ready. But we knew he wasn't ready. He didn't play the year before. He was hurt. Right? So when we hear a high draft pick rookie not starting, my mind immediately jumps to they don't think he's ready. Or it's that they truly are that worried about him getting hurt that they're just throwing Brissett out there to the fire. But it's not often that a high first-round pick quarterback doesn't get to start week 1, and usually when it does, in the instance of a Trey Lance, or a Jalen Hurts, or a Jordan Love, I know Jalen was 2nd round, Jordan was in the 1st round, but a lot of the time when you sit a first rounder, it means you don't think they are ready to start. And if you do think they're ready to start, there's no reason not to play them, even if the backup might be better at the time. Because that just doesn't make any sense. Right? Like, no matter how good of a backup you have, you start the kid. That's what I think. That's what I would do. Now the Bears didn't do that. They started Andy Dalton over Justin Fields. What happened to Justin Fields? Not good, right? Carolina. They also went with Andy Dalton over Bryce Young. What happened? Bryce Young, not very good. So when teams choose the veteran backup over the rookie, it doesn't often go well for the rookie. It's pretty rare when we see a veteran backup get chosen over the rookie and the rookie ends up succeeding. We did see it with Justin Herbert. Let's be fair. Let's be completely fair. They were going to start Tyrod Taylor. I said it was a mistake. Herbert gets in the game week 1 and clearly was better. And it's like, why were you starting Tyrod Taylor then? I have the same thoughts right now about New England. All right, let's talk some baseball. We're going to play a little game. It's called Contender or Pretender. There's 7 teams right now that are still hanging around. Right around 500. I'm going to decide, are they contenders or pretenders? Rays are 67 and 68. Tampa Bay. Every week it seems like they get hot and then they get cold. And then they get hot and then they get cold. And they're right around 500 the whole time. I think Tampa Bay is a pretender. I don't think they have a playoff push in them. Tigers, Detroit, 69 and 68. They just got above 500 for the first time in 2 months. In the wild card, so the Twins are the 3rd wild card right now. The Tigers are 5 back. So the Rays are 6 back. Tigers are 5 back of the playoffs. Could they catch the Twins? They could. They do play the Twins. I don't think they will. Again, the reason the Tigers are above 500 is because they just swept Chicago. I don't think that is adequate enough for me. Detroit, I think, is a pretender. In the West, Seattle, 3 above 500. Did they win tonight? They play tonight. Let's see. Did they win tonight? Mariners versus Angels. They lost tonight. So they're 69 and 67. I think Seattle again. So what? They're 4.5 behind the Twins. They'd be 5 back of Houston. I think Seattle's a pretender as well. They just fired their coach. Julio and JP not playing well. Great pitching staff, but no offense. 3 straight pretenders. How about in the NL? What are the Cubs? Do the Cubs have a run in them? Chicago is 70 and 66. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're scorching hot right now. And their schedule isn't bad. I want to pull up the Cubs' schedule. When we look at the Cubs' schedule here, they get the Pirates, who aren't great. Yankees, Dodgers are tough. But after that, Rockies are easy. The A's are easy. The Nats are easy. The Reds at the end of the season are easy. If they can get through New York and the Dodgers 3-3, they can win the Pirates series, Rockies, A's, Nats, get through the Phillies at the end, and then beat the Reds. I think the Cubs might be legit. I think they might be contenders. I'm going Chicago contenders. How about the Cardinals, 68 and 68? They've also been hot lately. They get the Brewers, Mariners, Reds, Blue Jays, Pirates, Guardians, Rockies, Giants. Problem for the Cardinals is they just sent a lot of guys down. I don't believe in the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are a pretender. And finally, the Giants. The Giants at 68 and 69. Contenders or pretenders? Again, for the Giants, let's look at their schedule. I think it could come down to some of these season games. D-backs is tough. Padres is tough. Brewers, Padres, Orioles, Royals, D-backs, Cardinals. That's a gauntlet. The Giants are pretenders. The Cardinals, I would say, could have a run in them because Seattle's struggling, and then the Reds are bad. Jays, Pirates, Cleveland, who's been struggling, Rockies, and then they get the Giants after the Giants have gone through the gauntlet. So actually, I'm going to revise this. I think the Cardinals and Cubs are my contenders. Right now, Chicago at 4 above 500. how much are they from the wild card? The Braves are 12 above. So the Cubs are 4 back. The Cardinals are 6 back. I think the Cubs and the Cardinals could make a run. I still would bet on the Braves or the Mets. The Mets are 2 back. Cubs are 4 back. I would still bet on the Mets, but I do think the Cubs and Cardinals could have a run in them. Everybody else, though, Rays, Tigers, Mariners, Giants, those are pretenders. All right, let's finish today off with the MVP ladder. This is my official MVP predictions. Who do I think will win the MVP in the year 2024? We start with my dark horses. So I want to clarify, this is not my quarterback rankings. All of these players are quarterbacks. I did not put a single wide receiver or running back or defensive player in the MVP rankings preseason because I think the chances are so high that they pick a quarterback, it's not even worth it. Now, if a receiver or a running back or a defensive player really, truly is in the conversation, I will start including them later. But this is the MVP ladder preseason edition. It's all quarterbacks. Dark horses, 3 of these guys are veterans that are trying to make a name for themselves, trying to reestablish themselves. Russ, Deshaun, Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't bet on any of them, but they are dark horses because they are still talented players. Any of them could have an incredible season and win an MVP. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked. And also Jaden Daniels as a dark horse. Rookies don't usually win this award, but Jaden Daniels is very talented, so he's a dark horse for now. I've seen this story before. Look, I've seen this story with all these guys. I've seen the Joe Burrow MVP hype. I've seen the Josh Allen MVP hype. I've seen the Herbert MVP hype. I've seen the Stafford MVP hype, and I've seen the Lawrence MVP hype. This is where I say this is not a quarterback rankings, because if this was a quarterback rankings, 3 of these guys would be top 10. Josh Allen would be 2, Burrow 3, Herbert 7. And Stafford I had at 11, and Trevor Lawrence I had at 13. So none of these guys, by the way, to clarify, this is not even into my top 10 in the MVP ladder. I have Burrow 11, Allen 12, Herbert 13, Stafford 14, Lawrence 15. I've seen it before. Like, there's a better chance that Josh Allen is the second best quarterback, that any of these guys could be the second best quarterback and not win the MVP. Part of it, I legitimately do believe MVP voters want a dual threat quarterback, and only Josh Allen out of these 5 is a dual threat quarterback. The other 4 don't really run the ball. That hurts them. Mahomes, Lamar, those are the guys that have been winning the award lately. Dual threat guys. They're not giving the award out to pocket passers, no matter how good. I mean, Stafford probably should have won an MVP. Of course, he lost to Aaron Rodgers, which is a whole other thing. But big name guys are the guys winning the MVPs, but not these guys. I've seen this story before with all of them. All of them, I think, have a better chance of being number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 than winning the MVP. I just don't see it with any of these guys. I think all of their ceiling is number 2. All right. Unproven potential. Again, these guys, I think, have a better chance at MVP than quarterbacks that I believe are much better than them because they have so much potential. Richardson at 10, Kyler Murray 9, Tua at 8, and Caleb Williams at 7. Caleb is 7th on my MVP ladder right now. I mean, it speaks for themselves. Unproven potential. Tua is a borderline for this name, but I threw him in there because I do think he has a better chance because with Tyreek Hill, his offensive numbers could pop off so much that he can win an MVP award. All right, next up, changing trajectories. Jordan Love 5, Jalen Hurts at 4. 2 of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. I think these 2 quarterbacks will meet in the postseason. If you watch my playoff predictions, watch them. They're pretty good. They're out tonight. I think these 2 guys are 2 of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. Hurts was on the upward trend, now kind of on the downward trend. People are selling their Hurts stock. Jordan Love's on the upward trend. Both of these guys, though, I think have the ability to put up crazy good numbers and win an MVP, but they are not my top contenders. So here we go. Number 2, 3, and 4. CJ Stroud at 2, Lamar 3, Dak Prescott 4. These are my top contenders. Lamar won it last year. CJ Stroud at number 2, who I think is due for a really, really good year 2. And Dak at 4, who always puts up really great numbers, and he's a Cowboy. So if Dak is up there for one of the best quarterbacks in the league, he always is going to be in the conversation at least, because he's a Dallas Cowboy. But none of these guys are my number 1 guy. Somehow he didn't win it last year. I thought he should have. I thought he was better than Lamar. I thought Josh Allen, to be fair, was also better than Lamar. But like I said, we love the dual threat quarterbacks. Mahomes, well, duh. I mean, duh, he's my top contender. Duh, he's alone in tier number 1. He is my preseason MVP favorite. I'm going to update this ranking every 2 weeks. Actually, maybe every week starting after week 2. I will update the MVP ladder. My rule is I never overreact to week 1, so I'm not even going to change it after week 1. Starting week 2, we begin to update the MVP ladder. And I will do that with you guys. It'll be a new segment every week. Maybe we'll do this on Wednesdays, because I think Tuesday is Power Rankings Day. So maybe Wednesday will be MVP ladder day, or maybe Thursday. We'll see. But with that, we wrap up the show. This is Coast to Coast Sports. Thank you so much for watching.